Hello everyone. Today is the 6th October 2021 and in this video we will discuss the Nebosh open book exam scenario, and in the next upcoming video we will discuss the question and the answer as well. Let's start from the scenario. In the UK and many other countries, the public can take household waste to a local recycling and reuse center. Here the waste is sorted, reused or recycled where possible. Otherwise, the waste may be incinerated or as a last resort disposed of by a burial in the ground. On the outskirts of small town, there is a relatively small recycling and reuse center. There is no pedestrian access to the site for the public. Instead, they must arrive by vehicle such as car or small van, passing through a designated entry gate into a one-way road system. To reach the waste offloading point, the vehicles queue and travel very slowly along a narrow access road that is enclosed by a boundary fence. There are speed retarders in the road set at intervals at the end of the center left hand side. The access road turns to the right and takes the vehicles up a ramp onto a raised parking platform. Here, vehicle drivers are directed to stop by a center worker who guides the drivers to a line of a designated parking spaces. The parking spaces back directly onto a line of 12 large skips. These skips sit in an area below the parking platform which is inaccessible to the public. Each skip is about 3.5 meters deep and projects about 1.2 meters above the ground level of the parking platform. The waste must be deposited into these skips by the public. The skips are clearly labeled with what should be put into them, such as wood, metal, large items of household waste, garden waste, cardboard, chemical, etc. The public are encouraged to sort the waste from their vehicles into the respective skips, occasionally with the assistance from the center workers. Having emptied their vehicles, the public exits slowly from the end of the row of skips. Just to the right of the public entrance is a separate entrance for the industrial vehicles and recycling and reuse center workers. The entrance allows access and egress to the lower area of the center so that full skips can be replaced with empty skips. Closed circuit television CCTV cameras are strategically located to monitor traffic and vehicle unloading. The recycling and reuse center employs 6 people. A young manager who graduated only a year ago. They are also the nominated health and safety officer who diligently oversees the day-to-day management of the center. A very experienced worker who the manager regularly confides in and who has grown to understand the enthusiasm and good intention of the manager. Two other workers around the skips area, two industrial vehicles driver. The manager at the center works in accordance with the organization's health and safety objectives and gives a weekly update at a leadership team management meeting. The manager's directors checks on a center performance and openly provides support to the young manager and checks on their well-being. All workers are aware of the manager's focus on health and safety objectives, targets and performance. The health and safety policy and the manager's Nebosh National Diploma parchment are pinned to a well organized notice board in the workers' break room, housed, with, housed within a portable modular building. The numerous risk assessments are labeled within a large binder located on an open bookshelf within the break room. These have been compiled with the help of workers. The manager is aware of their own competency limitation and as a result welcomes workers' input as this is a useful insight from those who carry out tasks. In that way, workers can give realistic feedback about the workability of operational and administrative procedure, especially if new risks emerge that have not been encountered before. The manager is regularly seen in and around the recycling and reuse center and occasionally carries out an unannounced workplace inspection. During such inspections, workers are frequently frustrated when the manager randomly asks them questions from a list about the specific aspects of health and safety policy. In addition, workers are reminded yet again about wearing appropriate personal protective equipment (PPEs) by the observant manager. When challenged, the workers point out that some of the PPE's safety signs, which are over 2 meters high, have faded considerably and are hard to read. As a result, the manager uses contractors to remove and replace any faded PP sign at center. Before this work commences, the manager provides induction training for the contractors when they initially arrive. The recycling and reuse center workers quietly appreciate the time taken by the manager to speak with them and the acknowledgement of an constructive complaints and observation about work. As a result, they are motivated to keep the workplace tidy to the extent that they are upset if a single nail is found on the floor around the public vehicle unloading area. The manager chairs monthly health and safety committee meeting with a nominated trained representative from the industrial vehicle drivers and one from those assisting the public with the recycling operation. At the start of each working day, the manager holds a health and safety briefing with all workers. One such one such daily briefing was taking place in the break room early one morning and was overrunning beyond the public opening time at 8 a.m. An inexperienced worker had opened the entry gate just before the daily briefing. At 8 a.m., a member of the public drove into a recycling and reuse center and parked their vehicle near the garden waste skip. Unaided, they tried to invert garden waste bag containing about 50 liters of waste. Unfortunately, their rest became entangled in the bags carrying handles, which then became trapped on the edge of the skip. They were screaming for help as they were caught against the front of the skip with their arms outstretched, desperately trying to avoid being pulled into the skip below by the heavy bag. The screaming alerted the workers who appeared from all directions and freed the member of the public. Although none of the workers have ever collectively practiced a response to such emergency. The manager comforted and reassured the member of the public, inquired about their health, and ensured that they were suitably recovered before allowing them to drive away. The manager immediately closed the center entry gates and posted a closure notice for half an hour. They arranged a short team briefing with all workers to discuss the near miss and what temporary action the workers could take to avoid an immediate repeat of the incident. The manager agreed to discuss the incident in more detail with the experienced worker when the center closed later that day. The experienced worker surprised the manager by saying, "This incident has happened before, no one has ever been hurt so there is nothing to worry about. The manager responded assertively by suggesting multiple health and safety management improvements that would help ensure this kind of incident in never repeated. The enthusiastic manager has suggested a change in the health and safety policy and has emailed the director. Here we have an email to director. Good morning. As reuse and recycling center manager, and in particular in my role as a health and safety officer, I believe the existing health and safety policy signed by the previous manager who retired in 2015 will need to be updated. Health and safety legislation mandates that an organization must write, implement, communicate, and review the health and safety policy. In addition, health and safety standards or guidance are often rewritten and replaced. New managers are promoted while others get transferred to other recycling centers. This naturally results in recruitment of managers and workers who have ideas about different hours and days of working to account for the public demand. We have taken delivery of brand new skip moving vehicle that operates around the skips. While these new vehicles are welcome, challenging recycling targets means that the workers have changed working practice and process to meet these targets. When I speak when I speak to the workers, they often complain that many procedures outlined in the policy do not reflect what actually happens these days. In addition to all this, the fact that we have previously been served an enforcement order was a reminder that administrative and practical things need addressing. Thank you. So this was the scenario of Nebosh Open Book Exam 6 October 2021. In next video we will bring the question and answer.